Hey everybody, welcome to the April subscriber edition Reverse the Verse. I'm Jared Huckabee, your community manager for Star Citizen Squadron 42. The subscriber edition Reverse the Verse is our monthly edition of our weekly informal live stream with the fans. We get some special guests to come aboard, and we take questions exclusively from our subscriber chat. So if you wish to ask questions during the question and answer portion of the show, you should join RSI chat on robertspaceindustries.com and join in the subscribers tab, and you'll be ready for when we're asking questions. But before that, we'll start with our introductions. We have two very special guests with us. From Foundry 42 UK, our senior sound designer, Mr. Ross Tregenza. Am I saying that right? Tregenza?
Yes, yep. Perfect, yep.
Okay. I recorded a promo for this last night, and I tripped over it so many times I just said F it and posted the mistake promo. And composer for Star Citizen. You've seen him on Around the Verse. You've seen him on INN broadcasts. He's no stranger to community interaction. We love him dearly. Mr. Pedro Camacho. How you doing, Pedro?
Hi, how you doing, Jared? Thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much.
Thanks for being on the show. Now, before we get started with the questions and whatnot, there are many people who maybe haven't seen Pedro before, haven't seen Ross before, so why don't we start by introducing a little bit of who you are and what you do for Star Citizen. Ross, you want to start us off?
Yeah, so I'm a senior sound designer here at the UK studio. I kind of specialize in the music aspects of the game, so I take Pedro's amazing music and I put that in different places. I help build the sort of the logic systems of the music, so in combat when things kick off, making sure it sounds awesome and let it die down again, all that kind of crazy stuff. Yeah, that's me.
Okay. And how'd you come aboard Star Citizen?
I've been a sound designer and composer for 10 years or so. I was working with Crytek UK and Free Radical before that, and then I was a composer for years and years before that. So I started off just doing occasional little tracks for games and escalated into this madness.
It's a pretty mad project.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, and you're doing audio for both Star Citizen and Squadron 42?
Yep, that's right. As well as the music aspects, handle a lot of like the narrative side of the Squadron. So kind of got two little areas. Keeps it interesting. It's pretty awesome.
Gotcha. And Pedro.
Hello.
Give us the Reader's Digest. Who is Pedro Camacho?
Well, I'm a guy who likes to make music, and really been a pleasure to be working with Star Citizen, by the way. And it's been an honor, actually. Really great people everywhere. Ross is one of them. Actually, he's been extremely helpful. Actually, really, because sometimes when you're in the orchestral sessions, and not only that, day by day, each day when you start working, it's great to have someone to, just speak with and get a second opinion, something like that. So because you never know it all, it's never a lonely job. So it's always a team job, always a teamwork. So if you enjoy the music. Yeah, sure. The name comes with me as composer, sure, but it's always a teamwork with everyone. So.
And you came aboard. Yeah, you came aboard around the 300 commercial, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I came aboard a bit before, but 300 was the first public thing that people heard.
Gotcha.
From me. So yeah, that was really a nice moment, actually. Nice, really nice, really cool stuff.
So today's podcast is going to focus a bit on the music side for Star Citizen. Now, we've had music in Star Citizen for some time, from the first drop of Arena Commander. That was, tell us about composing the first music that was for Star Citizen, the Arena Commander stuff. That was MIDI orchestrations at the time?
Yeah, initially everything starts with MIDI orchestration. When I did the MIDI for that one, I already knew it would be played, of course, with a real orchestra for sure. So I didn't place too much detail into it. Some backers heard it. I think it was one of the very few, or probably the only track that I heard some very some kind of not so positive comments back then. But the reason actually was
Tell me who.
it
I'll
was
kick
just
their
that.
ass.
It's fine. It's
We'll
no
get
one
'em.
does perfect. No, it's actually fine. Everyone doesn't do good all the time. Actually, it needs some luck, hard work, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe some luck and hard, really hard, most of it hard work. But anyway, on that track, it was like in the MIDI, just to get an idea for Chris. Chris loved it. He just back then, and we always thought we will have an orchestra. It took a little bit longer, but it's done now, and I think I love it personally. I personally really enjoy it, and it was really a touching moment for me when it finally came true. We had one of our very own friends and colleagues, Bob Risolo from our team, there in the session, and he heard it live. I still hope that we can actually play it live to our people, or more people than just our people, our backers, because that's because of them that we can all do all of this. Of course, I never forget that. That's why we put so much passion into it. And I remember Bob was listening to it in the hall, and he got a he his eyes got a bit wet. Let's say it was. I never thought that it would touch him like that. That was pretty cool. That's when I thought, well, that was really cool moment for me.
All right, so
But that hall is just amazing. The hall in Bratislava, it's absolutely phenomenal. It's just such a beautiful building. If anybody wants to check it out, just Google the Slovak Radio Building. It's an upside down pyramid in like a brutalist style, and like the whole back of the hall, it's the biggest musical organ in all of Europe. It's like a 40-foot musical instrument. It's amazing. It's breathtaking.
Gotcha. So we'll get into to the stories of the orchestration here in just a minute. With the MIDI stuff, Ross, can you talk a little bit about implementing a MIDI orchestra in CryEngine? I know we did some changes. We moved to WWise. Well, I don't know how to say. How do you say that anyway? WY? Is it WWise?
Wise.
Wise. You
Wise
say
is-
Wise.
Yeah, yep. I asked the guys a long time ago, and Wise is the official way. And you save yourself a W every time you don't say that W. So there's a great time-saving tip there. It's just Wise.
Gotcha. So tell us about implementing the orchestra and or the MIDI orchestration.
Well, the complication is because you have this beautiful music, but obviously in this kind of sandbox gameplay, you can never guarantee what people do. I mean, you can take a beautiful song and you can just slap it into a game and it'll sound beautiful, but there's no dynamism, there's no interaction, there's no feedback with it. So what we have to do is take these tiny sections and then just move dynamically from one to another based on feedback we're getting from the game. We have like a running number of intensity that's fed into from all kinds of elements, like are more bad guys arriving, did you just kill someone, are your friends dying? And that number rises and rises and rises. And as it does, so Pedro's music, broken into these little blocks, will slowly like rise with your story and like your adventure, which is so much more interesting and so much more engaging for the player.
Gotcha. And Pedro, is that taken into account when you compose the music?
Of course. When we want the music to work with the game, above all, not to be like it's good when it also it sounds nice outside the game, but the most important is of course the game. We want players to feel immersed with the game. I feel we have like a ton of material, and we're doing like a ton of more material now, and I think we just did the most difficult part. Now, in my opinion, I think now it comes the easier part because we nailed more the action part and the stuff that really requires a bit more work. Now it will be easier, and we'll assemble it all together, and we'll just adjust it just as needed to make sure it just fits with the game. That's it. Hope it sounds great.
All right. So for the last year or so, players have had the MIDI version of your orchestrations. Recently, you just did 2 recording sessions in Bratislava. Was it 2?
Well, yeah, we did. We did, and Ross can speak about it. He was there on all the sessions. He was really helpful, so maybe he can describe it more better than me.
Yeah, tell us about actually recording a full orchestration.
Oh, Pedro.
Oh, well, it's yeah, it's really great. Well, it's not my first time. It's really not my first nor my second time. But I remember I tried to remember when I did it for the first time a long time ago. It was really more overwhelming because it's the novelty. You're not used to that. So but but seeing together some of the there was one of the tracks that I did that made me kind of in the first session that we did. In the second, also in the second, but the first one really touched me. It was the Arena Commander theme actually as well, because I did it so long ago, and I kind of wish that moment came true to actually happen. And I had a small idea in one of the tracks. So in one of the part, like initial part, I changed a bit of the melody, and that melody for some reason really touched me, because I was like it was I was glad that I had that time so I could review the score, and it really touched me. And they played the orchestra played beautifully as well. So that was they were kind of feeling it. They were playing with passion. I could feel that. That's also important. It's not just those guys are used to play a lot of music. If they get kind of touch with the music they have in front of them, that's probably a good sign. Yeah. And I felt that at least.
There's more to things than just a technical prowess. That you have to put a little bit of yourself into your performance. And it shows when you listen to it. When you listen to the better, performances anyway.
Yeah, completely. I felt there was some of the performance. Ross was there, but some of the tracks, they, of course, not all have like. Yeah, I love them all, but some of them really, in the performance, came out much better than. It's like the first time they probably played. I don't know, Beethoven 5 or something. It probably was not the best performance. With time, people just. But I think we still, even though they played it like just a few times before recording a final take, there was some really nice, a really nice takes there. It really moved me.
Yeah. Even the first performance though, these people are so outrageously talented that you can put this sheet music in front of them for Pedro's beautiful, complex music, and they can crash through it and do a pretty amazing take, just sight reading as a first performance. It's absolutely astonishing to witness it.
And what was the orchestra that you were working with in Bratislava?
Pedro?
Yeah, well, it's not one single orchestra. It's actually a combined orchestra with some of the best players that are in Slovakia. Most of them, I believe, are from the Radio Symphony, Slovakia Radio Symphony, if I'm not mistaken about the name.
Yeah.
I didn't memorize it completely. It's but I'm always trying to remember the name of another orchestra, but I don't remember. Anyway, the players are great, like Ross said. The players are really great, and they just did a great job. I believe it was really a great job.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Ross, do you have a story or anything, a funny story you can share from the recording?
Well, besides Bob crying, I'm not going to that. I mean, I think anybody that was there and witnessed that music had a tear in their eye. There was in the, like I say, there was this outrageously giant like church style organ that took up the back wall. We really did try all the time to have a go on that. I never got to have a go. Did you get to have a go on it, Pedro?
Sorry. Does the sound just?
You remember the giant organ in the back of the hall that took up the
Oh
whole
yeah,
back wall?
sure. Oh, that was
did you-
awesome.
I really wanted to play that. Did you get to play it in the end?
Yeah, I did.
You did?
Get to play it. Yeah,
I didn't get to play it.
Yeah, I did get to play it, and I actually recorded a little bit of it. But well, but yeah, it was great. The sound was just awesome. It made me want to use it at some point. I don't know if that will happen, but it really was an awesome organ.
We
Really
do like a
giant.
gothic horror sub story somewhere in Squadron. That's what we need.
That's right. That's probably more for Jeff Zanelli. As you know, it's the other composer that's working with us, and he will do an amazing job. And maybe we can drop the tip for him for Squadron. It probably can be a very nice addition. That would be really great to hear.
Gotcha. Well, we've talked about scoring, the orchestration there. You specifically mentioned the Arena Commander theme. What do you think? Do you think we can play play the Arena Commander theme for folks? The new fully orchestrated version. Yeah. Hold on. Let me look. Hey Ben.
Ask him.
Hey Ben, if I can't play it, say something now. No, he didn't say anything. All right, we're good. So right now we're going to try to play the fully
that's brilliant
orchestrated
clearance.
Arena Commander theme. Let's see if we get to start here. Wow. Pedro. Pedro. Let me love you through the screen. Hold on. I love you through the screen on behalf of the Star Citizen community. And sending your love.
Thank you for enjoying it.
One of those comments was Pedro is the new John Williams, so I thought you'd like that.
Nah, that's
Hey!
not true. It's not true. John Williams is really awesome. Still have some years ahead of me, probably.
He's too modest. He's so modest. It's disgraceful.
No, I'm actually realistic. That's the sad part where we are realistic about ourselves. But anyway, I'll try hard. Let's hope.
All right, so I heard some. Now I've heard this is a more recent mix. I heard like the day after you got back, you had an initial mix of this that you shared with us, and I heard some differences already. We'd have to go back go back through it for me to point out to do it, but it's awesome hearing it iterate. I just you mentioned earlier because you had an idea and you made some changes, and again I'd have to play it and like point out to it to tell you exactly where it is, but it's noticeable and it is better. So good job. Oh, I'm hitting the mic. Yeah. So Ross, we know what Pedro did for that. What did you do?
Not a lot on that song. We took it to. Well, I was with him in Bratislava, but really, I'm just there to be there, and if he wants to discuss anything, I can give an opinion. But this stuff is Pedro all the way. I'm just helping out where I can. We after the initial recording, we took it down to Peter Gabriel's Real World studio in just outside of Bath in the south of the country, which was it was a great decision. It was a phenomenal place to mix it. We had a world-class orchestral mixer called Peter Fuchs with us, who took the helm there, and he did a fantastic job. And that whole place was just an amazing thing to visit. It's just out of this world what Peter Gabriel's done with it.
Yeah, no, I've seen pictures of it. I've obviously never been there, but it looks like an amazing studio to mix in. I was very. My older brothers were musicians for years, so I've been in a number of music mixing studios. Nothing remotely like that, though. That was
it's breathtaking.
Yeah. So when you implement something like this,
I just want to say that it's actually not true. Not only Ross, but actually another person who's not here, which is Lee Banyard.
Yes.
Who actually was also decisive for this one to sound good, and I will explain why. We did an initial recording, which is what you heard, with the full orchestra except the percussion, because that's what all composers do. They place the percussion in MIDI. Be fine. No, it's just fine. Everyone does that. Everyone, just Zimmer to any major, anyone except probably John Williams. And I really felt that even though the performance was great, I felt if we had the percussion in the whole, the performance would be better, because the musicians will feel the percussion in their bodies, and that will influence the way they play their own instruments. So I asked Lee if I could make a new orchestration with the full percussion. Percussion was just like cymbals, timpani, and a snare, which you heard, and then suspended cymbals as well. So all those four symphonic percussion. And I said, well, if we have some final minutes in the session, maybe in the second session, from this time, maybe we can try it. And he said yes, and he also allowed the percussion to be hired for the actual performance. And I really think that it was his decision, and I think it was a very good decision. To me, it really made a difference in the music. And the one you're hearing is all played live. There's no shortcuts. That's just like we hear in a concert. There are no gimmicks, also no overdubs, nothing. Just what you would hear in a concert hall. So
Gotcha.
I was happy about
Well, you should. I think everybody's happy. Ross, what can you tell us about implementing an orchestration into the game? Is it similar to the MIDI? Are you implementing all the individual instruments and then the game mixes it live, or how does that work? You just play an MP3? Figure it out.
It's difficult because there are certain restrictions, obviously, with recordings of real orchestra versus MIDI. There's the human element, which is what you want from real orchestra, all that detail and human input. That can almost, if you want to break things into blocks for like I said, that music logic system we were talking about earlier, sometimes that doesn't really work for that. So because it needs to be so regimented and so machine-like for those blocks, that really what you want to do for these kind of beautiful tracks, like Pedro's been writing all this content, these really need to be saved to be enjoyed as like one long piece. So these will be used in real, those sort of breathtaking, show-stopping moments in the game, where we'll make sure that they're triggered as like a, once, very, very rarely, the right conditions will happen. Say like maybe it'll be a first visit to a planet, and one of his beautiful, heart-wrenching melodies will come in, and where it has been a bit more sort of modular and machiney before, suddenly it becomes super emotive and human. So it's really it's about making sure the conditions are right to go bam and drop one of these Pedro bombs on people.
All right. Well, it's 11:30. We're at our halfway point. So congratulations, guys. You made it halfway. We're going to start opening up the show to questions from our internet audience. Again, guys, this is our subscriber edition RTV, so we're taking questions from the subscriber chat on the RSI website. You can go to, you see the link down in the corner there, robertspaceindustriescom/community/chat. If for any reason the subscriber tab doesn't automatically open for you, thank you, Ross, you can click more channels in the lower right-hand corner and select the subscriber tab, and that will add you into it, provided, of course, that you are a subscriber. If you're not a subscriber, you're free to watch the show and listen to the wonderful music, but we're taking questions from subscribers today. And subscribers, of course, please preface your question with the word question in capital letters surrounded by brackets. It's just an easy thing to help me pick the questions out from all the other conversation that's going on. So let's see, we've got some questions feeding in already. Let's see. That says question, but that's not a question. Is that... statement. It's okay, Pedro. We love you. Okay.
There's a lot of talk of Pedro bombs
Thank
now.
you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Zyphon asks, can you give us an idea of how many tracks there will be in Star Citizen / Squadron 42?
Pedro?
Well, tracks in the game or in the soundtrack?
In the
Probably
game,
in the
I think.
sound. Well, in the game, it's really. I think it will be quite a lot because it'll be completely, dynamic, not a static thing. So it's difficult to.
Yeah, it'd be like an ongoing thing, really. I mean, as the universe expands, so will the music will expand with it.
Yeah, and but for the soundtrack, I hope people. I personally prefer. This is me, and I felt everyone felt a bit like the same. I prefer to have like a well selected amount of music that works somehow together in a CD so I can enjoy while driving a car, or just listening at home or on the PC or something like that, than having like a whole bunch of music, like a storage of music. And so for this soundtrack, this is the first volume, we are not placing all the music that has been heard in the game. We're playing music that has never been heard, but actually it fit. It fit better in the context of the CD. Why? Because it's more music that is heard while you're playing the game. That was the main goal we wanted. There's a lot of music I like doing for trailers, but that's just that's really something that was for a trailer, not for like it's like when you have music for a trailer and music from the score of a film. When you get the soundtrack, you get the soundtrack from the music that was actually used in the film, not the music that was used in trailers of that film.
Not the same
It's
2
kind of
minute
like
John Horner bit that keeps getting reused over and over and over again.
so kind of like that. So I think it's much more than we have right now. But Squadron 42, I don't know. We have, as you know, we have a wonderful composer, which is Jeff Zanelli. He's a fantastic composer, award-winning guy, really already famous guy. So he will do a fantastic job. I don't know how many tracks he will do, but probably a lot as well. So so it will be great.
All right.
Yeah, above all, it will be great. We are all passionate about this. We
Yeah.
really want this to work well.
Infinity Plus One asks, will human areas and alien areas have different dynamic background music?
Yes. Well, that's the plan. We really want to make sure that as you move around the universe, we'll build the systems, and the systems that'll be in place will be kind of a universal rule for how music works in space flight, etc. We'd really like the whole palette of the music to shift as you move from different parts of the universe. So it's almost, you can think of this, take games like Red Dead Redemption, which was a great example for its dynamic music. You could move in different areas of that map, and although the flow of music was comparable no matter where you were, you really knew where you were just by the instrumentation and just the tone of it. So we want to do that on a intergalactic scale is the plan.
Gotcha. What did you just? Oh, we probably can't talk about it. You just never mind. I just heard something that was alienish that Pedro sent me the other day. It was very good. Why is Lando talking like a PBS DJ? Because this is just me by myself, and I don't have to talk over Ben and Justin and Alexis.
You're listening to the sweet sounds of Star Citizen.
Question: will Pedro bombs make it into 2.4?
Definitely.
When is your for instance, the orchestral version of Arena Commander? When will that music, the orchestrated music, start making its way into the game? Do we know?
It's really all about picking the good spots for everything now. Obviously, everything's sort of expanding out on a nice. It's a good pace to it, but we need to pick our moments very carefully for these pieces. There's stuff arriving sooner rather than later, but I can't give you anything very specific yet.
Oh no, I just realized I asked a when question.
Yeah, don't say when.
Forever.
But we're working really hard to make it fast.
I asked a
we're
when
working
question.
hard.
Did you like my diplomatic answer? I thought that was excellent.
No, your answer was perfect. I'm the one, you get Pedro on here and I go fanboy and I forget who I am. And I'm like, when will this happen? Oh, I'm so ashamed.
No, but we were working very hard. Me and Ross are working really hard to make it. As soon as it polished, we just don't want to show something that's not good. But
exactly.
But I think you may hear something new in this show eventually. So you will hear some of the new stuff. So I hope that keeps the faith about everything.
Somebody whose name I'm not even going to begin to try to pronounce. It starts with an A. He says, Pedro, will you be at CitizenCon so I can get your autograph? Do we know if you're going to CitizenCon yet?
I hope so.
Hope so.
I hope so.
Hope so.
Hope so.
Talk
but
to me.
it's
Talk to me after the show. We'll see what we can do.
The important thing for me, I want to add this. I really like to be in my own corner, doing my stuff, and I'm really thankful that people appreciate what I do. But it's not my style, to be like a rock star or something. That's stuff for Jared, Chris, Ben, Sandy. They are the rock stars. I'm just helping them.
Okay, Pedro, we'll come visit you at your villa. All right.
It's a city.
Your villa's a city.
Pedro's king of his city.
No, I'm just
Hey, this guy's
a house. I have a house.
All right. Voon asks, hey, Ross, I play with very good speakers capable of going down in bass. Do you consider sub-bass in all explosions, etc.? I'd like to hear something deep. Growls.
Well, the other guys, particularly in the sound team, two of our guys, Darren and Luke, are working pretty hard on that at the moment. Actually, for us, the sub bass is a tricky one because everybody loves a huge, boomy explosions and stuff, but it needs to be used very carefully and very considerately. So whenever somebody starts sound designing, you immediately, your first week in the job, like, oh, dude, I'd make the biggest explosion in the world. Yeah. And then you realize you can't have that because it all adds up. Mm-hmm. So they're working on systems that'll kind of manage in an intelligent, sort of self-sustaining way how much of this awesome bass is getting used. So short answer, yes, it'll sound badass, but there's some special tech coming in the future for that.
Gotcha.
For the Pedro bombs.
For the Pedro bombs. Matt Fizz asks, can we please get the launcher music back?
Yes.
Well, you can play it. It's the main thing. Oh no, does he mean the old one or the new one?
I think he just means that when we open up the launcher, they could hear your Star System theme, your Arena Commander theme.
Yeah, that's we're in a kind of a transitory state with a new mega system of music logic, and it was an innocent bystander that was stripped for a little while, so we'll get that back in.
Gotcha. Bacon of War asks, is this Ross or Pedro's first crowdfunded project?
Certainly my first one. Pedro, is it your first?
Yeah, first one. Yeah, that's what.
Yeah. No, I've always been in just traditional game company models where, many years of secretly making a game and then you release it and it does very well, or no one buys it and the company dies. But,
basically.
But so this is wonderful. I love the fact we can talk openly about what we're doing and have this support. It's completely new to me. I guess the same for you, Pedro.
Yeah, sure. Yes, it's the same thing for me. It's a first time with crowdfunding. It's been actually harder for me because one thing I always thought about. I was quite sure. I was tried to be very fair with not just with the clients, but who was going to play the games I was scoring. I always had the idea that the players are actually good listeners, and there could be some discussions if they were or not, and I thought they were. So I always, it's little details, doesn't matter, but be very perfectionist about every single detail. For me, it's important, and being the crowdfunding game, it's kind of just proved that, because the only time I did a sloppy MIDI mock-up, which was for the Arena Commander before he had the actual live broadcasting, which was done on purpose. That was the time I got slapped in the forum there, and people just saying, "Oh my God, this sounds rubbish" or something like that. And it really shows how people are listening, and they are very, very good listeners. And we have several great musicians and actual composers on that crowdfund us, that really help us funding. So not only because we do, because everyone, because I want to do a good job, and Ross wants to do a good job. Everyone likes to do a job, but we should never underestimate. This is not the case with Chris Roberts, but there are other projects where the music sometimes is not regarded as something essential, or something like, just do something because people don't care. So I think this open crowdfunded, being open and people hearing step by step, we can see how much good audio, good music matters in everything that you do. Makes stuff look better. I think it's not all about graphics and 3D cards.
Absolutely. Elf. Speaking to that, Elfwin asks, "What is the state of sound occlusion in the game? Like muting sounds when you go behind walls." Can you talk a little bit about that, Ross?
Sound occlusion's a tricky one. It's something that bothers us. We want to get working. It makes such a big difference. The native occlusion with the CryEngine isn't particularly powerful, so something we hope to address. It's it's a system that really makes or breaks certain aspects of games. And game like ours, obviously we got these confined spaceships and stuff like that. You don't want to hear sounds bleeding through. So we're working on it. We're aware of it.
Okay. Captain Koff Captain Cough. Captain Cough. Says, Captain asks, will the music in the PU be switchable by a sort of radio stations to change between genres? Kind of like at the beginning of the Cutlass commercial when you see the pilot switching between radio stations. Are there any plans to have radio in Star Citizen?
It's not something that we haven't considered. That's a lot of negatives. It's something we have considered. That's easier.
There you go.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like there's room for it. At the moment, what's important to us is just starting to learn how people play the game. And, because quite often, whenever you get some kind of open game, people start thinking about radio stations and stuff like that. They're thinking of GTA and stuff. But you need the space for people to enjoy it. GTA has those great big long car journeys and stuff. It seems like we have the kind of game where it'd be quite nice to be cruising along in your space cruiser, chuck a few tracks on for your friends while you're in the journey. So yeah, we're looking into stuff and we're thinking about it. I don't think I can really say a lot more than that at the moment.
Gotcha. Paul Atreides asks, in regards to the soundtrack that will be sold, will the CD or files being mastered be uncompressed and have dynamic range, or remain more compressed and normalized as we often see in Hans Zimmer's soundtracks? Oh, throwing some shade. Throwing some shade at Hans Zimmer there.
Oh, girl.
Paul, show us on the doll where Hans Zimmer touched you.
He's getting shady.
Yeah, I think I think this could be a good moment, but maybe we'll save till the end of the show. That small sneak peek that we have, that's the music has a lot of dynamic range. So I really think the dynamic range is there. We didn't lose it, and because it's already done. It's already mastered. So we can say that, right?
Actually, to that end, just because I'm scared I'm going to forget, just wanted to mention Darren Lamborn here from the UK audio team. He's been over to Munich to work with Christoph Stickel, and they've been mastering Pedro's music. And that mastering process, that's what really pulls out those last extra juice from that dynamic range. And they did an amazing job over there, which I'm sure Pedro will agree. Yeah,
it's great. I just heard it all. It sounds really great, really great.
So good.
And it didn't lose, as he was saying, and very well, it didn't lose the dynamic range. There are some of the tracks that are more hybrid, so they're a little bit more into the max. Of course, it's normal because but most of them have a lot of dynamic range. I'm really happy about it. Seriously, really happy about it.
Amazing. Voon has another question. He says, Pedro, what VSTs do you use for your orchestral work? East-West, 8DO, VSL, Spitfire Audio, Cinestrings?
These are real things.
These aren't real things.
These are real things.
Oh, these are.
Well, for the VST is the contact library. That's which I use, the contact sampler. But the libraries he was mentioning, the libraries that I use inside contact. East West has Play, which is another VST. They are all great developers, and the thing about samples is that, and the more you work with samples, you'll get to that conclusion. Special orchestral samples is that there are no best choices. And unlike when you work with a real orchestra, which you can actually write for what a human can do, which is for me the best thing you can do, when you have a sample orchestra, you have to write to what the library can do. You should never try to make a MIDI mockup trying to push the limits of the library into an area that it was never kind of designed or recorded or whatever. It doesn't sound good when you do it. So it has happened to me sometimes also in some of the music that we use in Star Citizen as well. That's why meanwhile I sampled my own orchestra, so I do have all the libraries that he mentioned, from ATO, VSL, Spitfire, ATO already spoke about, VSL, Spitfire, East-West as well. They're all great, but they all have limitations. That's why I sampled my own orchestra like 2 years ago. and to have a bit more freedom. Still, it's not perfect. It's not just not like the real orchestra. You really need it to get the full expression, in my opinion. So what I want to tell, because I can tell he probably is a composer, or wants to be a composer, or just enjoys doing music with that. I will always tell, just write what is comfortable for the library. Imagine the library is someone that is a little bit handicapped. You should never make a handicapped people run like 1,000 miles. Like, it's just never work. You'll never run it. So just limit your your composition to what the library can do, which can be a bit frustrating sometimes. But sometimes it's better to do that and make a mock-up that sounds really weird and strange with something that the library can't do. So I do have to say that also he should add up to that list orchestral tools as well, which has been doing some great job as well. What I would say is that it's always good to focus on a library that has a complete orchestra recorded in the same hall. That's what I like. I like orchestras that are recorded in a certain hall, so you can have not only the orchestra but the whole sound. VSL in that aspect, it's all recorded really dry and up close, and you have to use a lot of reverbs. It kind of works, but it's never the same thing. Well, at least for me, there are some people that use it and love it. So whatever works better for him, that's what matters. That's my answer.
Somebody was asking, what kind of headphones are we using, considering that you're both audio professionals?
DT770s.
What do you got?
It's just AKGs. I think that's how we pronounce it. AKGs. So
I have Sennheisers.
I like these, but it's also I've used these for my entire professional career, and I just feel now if I changed,
yes,
I'm an old dog.
Yeah,
no new tricks.
I'm kind of like Ross. It also I feel I also always used AKGs since, but I don't know why. I just like the brand, but it has nothing to do with the brand. The thing is, you should have a reference equipment that you like to use that is minimally good, that you're minimally neutral, and where you hear all the soundtracks that you enjoy, really, like all the great soundtracks that you really enjoy, and memorize the sound that you get from those headphones, and then try to get to that sound with the reference. So it's all a relative, like the principle of relativity. So it's all the same. So of course, if it can reproduce the bass, there's something he shouldn't forget. It's not all about the headphones. A lot of it is about the preamps that feed the audio into the headphones that really, at least for me, has always made a big difference. Nowadays, not so much, but you should have a professional level audio card. Otherwise, the converters will just send crap to the headphone, no matter what headphones you have. So you don't need the most expensive stuff, but minimally good stuff.
Not integrated onto the motherboard.
Yeah, well, nowadays everything has been improving so much. I could be speaking like an ignorant, but I do have something, of course, outside the motherboard, really large over there. So it's really different, and it sounds really great. And I actually did A/B comparisons, and it sounds like really different. Really, the same headphones sound completely different.
Gotcha. Nasty Head Wound asks, hope you get better, Nasty. Nasty Head Wound asks, any plans for 2946 flavored pop rock style music? Now, I asked this one because Ross, you've worked on our Ballad of Big Benny's theme, which sort of fits in with that. We haven't released the full track just yet. We're still collecting video footage. By the way, guys, in official announcements on our forums, there's a thread, Big Benny's needs your help. We're still collecting footage. We are like 75% of the way done. We just need a little more footage, and we'll release the full Ballad of Big Benny's. But what can you talk about the possibility of creating pop rock styled music for our game?
Yeah, I mean, Big Benny's people love it so much. It is quite does inspire me to want to do more. That ridiculous little song came from it went from something so small. I just went home one evening and I wrote like for about 15 minutes. I wrote the melody, and then I got my wife to come in. My wife Julia, hello. I got her to come in and she wrote some lyrics for it and sang them. And then I took it to work. It's like, there we go. I made a little song. And then people loved it. So then I expanded it out to this full length version. That must have taken me like 60 hours. I went, once I knew I wanted to make it perfect, it went from no time at all to every evening just thinking, what am I doing with my life? It's 1 a.m. and I'm listening to Big Benny's again to make sure the claps sound right.
Yeah, no, it'll be a great time when we release that. That was fun. I remember this. I think we had talked like once prior to this. And I'm like, hey Ross, I'm Jared. I'm the community manager for Star Citizen, and you probably have no idea who I am. Big Benny's is really popular, and I know you've got like this 30-second bit here. Do you think we expand it out to a full song? And you're like, and I was worried like you were gonna come back and be like, who the F is this? And you were just like, and you were so game right from the goes, yeah, man, that sounds awesome. Let's do it. And I was like, oh, Ross is good people. Ross is good.
My favorite bit was when you asked for there to be a creepy, terrifying middle section. Like, why not? Let's go do that.
Yeah, no. When you guys get the full track, it starts off on like a Benny's carb high. You know, it's you're just eating more carbs, getting higher, and just like every high, there's a crash, and halfway through you crash, and you go through the carb crash, and everything gets psychedelic and everything crazy, and then the only way to get out of a crash is to take another hit. So you take another hit of Benny's, and then you come back twice as powerful as before. And I asked for it and you nailed it perfectly, so thank you so much.
Synth guitar solo and everything.
Yes. So let's see, we can take a couple more questions and then we have a special sneak preview that Pedro has put together for us. Let's see. Hey Pedro, Kilroy would like to know, what living composers, if any, would you say inspire or influence your work? Limited to 25 or less.
25. Yeah, living composers. Well, there are actually a couple classical composers inspire me a lot, like Steve Reich. I love that. Arvo Part, love that one. That's really great music. My own composition teacher, which is Eurico Carrapatoso. He's absolutely fantastic composer. I'm always speechless about his music. I cried a lot of times listening to his work. He's such a phenomenal composer, really. Really. Also, of course, John Williams is always that really big rock.
Yeah, anybody that doesn't list John Williams is lying.
Yeah, of course. John Williams is great. Zimmer, I just love Zimmer. Zimmer is just great. He has something that almost no other composer has, I think. He created a new style for the orchestra to play. I think many composers wanted to do what Zimmer did, but never had the guts to do it, which is make the orchestra repeat a lot of patterns, which is what made his music a bit popular. And he did it in such a cool way that makes the orchestra sound like a rock band, and that's awesome. I just think he changed. I even believe that he changed the way future also concert composers work because of that. That's phenomenal. That's phenomenal. So yeah, those composers are probably the ones that really influenced me the most. Those are the ones that really influenced me the most. The ones who are living. Those are the ones. So not too many.
Not too many. We covered a little bit about this. If you guys haven't seen it, we have a great 2-part interview with Pedro on Around the Verse from earlier this year. I can't remember what episode number, but if you want to see a lot more of Pedro's history and his influences and stuff like that, and a little bit of how he works the way that he works, be sure you check that out. It's on Around the Verse. You know, we'll break that out. We'll break that out and make it easier for people to find after this. Justin's gonna love me for it. Hey Justin, go find that thing. He's working on tomorrow's ATV right now. All right, so we're pretty much at the end now. So let's go ahead. We have a special treat. Pedro, you want to set this up? You want to tell people what they're about to listen to?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's actually a theme that we worked on. Because we all work, as I say, as a like and Lee was actually Lee Bannier was actually the guy which is the audio director, which actually said I should finish the track. I started it that track when I saw My People to Planet, which we didn't ended up not using there, and Lee said, "Oh no, this is good stuff. We should use it on when entering for a special planet when visiting or approaching / visiting a special planet, like for the first time." And so I finished the track, and I actually love it. So that's it. So I called it My Planet. So it's
Pedro's planet.
It's I like
so
it.
in the course of this interview, you've gone from a villa to a town, and now you have a planet.
Yeah, he got a raise.
All right, now we're not going to play the entire thing. We're just going to play a short 30-second snippet.
You get the full thing in the soundtrack. Hope you like it. Hope so.
All right, let's check out My Planet by Pedro Camacho. Nope, it's on loop. I gotta turn that loop off. Just wants to play again. All right, so that was actually 43 seconds. Pedro cut that. He said 30 seconds, but he gave us 43. Pedro's a giver. Pedro's a giver. So that was 43 seconds of My Planet. Is that the beginning of the track, the middle of the track? What is that?
Yeah, it's kind of middle of the track.
And you said that's the kind of thing that might play when the player approaches a planet of special significance.
Yeah, that's what. So when I want the music like kind of fade in, that's at least what I have in mind. We're still working on it. Once we have the system to actually enter a planet with the full procedural, which is already done, the tech is already done, but we need to polish it to make it like playable. I can't wait to have that. I really want to play that. Yes. So one of the
still lots more work to do on procedural planets, guys. Don't run away from here saying Pedro said procedural planets is done. It's like it's still lots of work to do.
The only thing I saw sorry, the only thing I have access to is the videos that everyone saw. So I haven't seen anything else.
Finished.
But I was so excited about it, like everyone was. I loved it. I really can't wait to try it. But one of the things I have in mind is it will be really cool if there was a special serene planet that we're going to land. That music kind of fades in, and we hear it as we approach it. I don't think that will be quite a nice moment. I hope.
Absolutely. Yep, folks. The comments have caught up now. So yes, people are saying encore, play it again. Maybe we'll play it again as we leave. But guys, that's it for the show. You made it an hour. Sorry, Lee couldn't join us. Lee Bannier was going to join us, but he fell ill at the last minute. So Lee, we hope you get better and that we represented your work well. Ross, thanks for taking the time. I know what time is it there? It's 8 o'clock now.
Yeah, 8 o'clock.
Yeah, so thanks for staying late. To be on the show.
Oh, no problem.
It's one thing I can always say about the Foundry 42 UK team. They're always game to help out. So it's when we were having the idea, every month we're like, who are we going to get this month? Who are we going to get this month? We were in a meeting and I'm like, dude, we can get the audio guys because they're always game to help out. So we appreciate it a lot. So thank you so much for taking the time to show here. Yeah, that too. And did you guys ever get those jackets you were going to get, the UK audio jackets?
We did. I think I joined the company just after we got them, so I don't have one.
Oh, I don't, okay. All right. Well, if they ever do a second run of them, I want one. All right, Pedro, you're in the same time zone. Thank you for staying up so late to chat with us.
Yeah, pleasure is mine. Really, it's a pleasure. Really, always a pleasure. And it's a great team we have here. It's really great. It's always very supportive. It's not just for the show off. People usually think, oh, they're always smiling because they are on camera and live. It's not that at all. It's we actually a really good sport and really nice guys, and actually really great team to work with. And so and I think that's why my music may have, I don't know, I feel I kind of improved a little bit also because it's all about a relation. Music is a consequence of how you feel. If you're in a band environment, music, I don't know, you can feel it. If you feel okay with the music, should mean something is going well. And that's because of the team is going well. And that's a good thing. That's why Star Citizen is so great. I think it's, we have in command of the ship or of the orchestra Chris Roberts, and we hold all of us and everywhere. I don't know everyone, of course. We are so many right now, but everyone I spoke with is really really nice guys. There's no faking here. It's really really cool stuff. They like to work in the game, like to do the game, you want to get the thing done, and we are so passionate about it.
I'm faking it.
No, you're not.
No, if anything, I fake the mean part because I think it's funny. But all right, guys, thank you so much again, Pedro. Thank you, Ross.
So much.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys. The Star Citizen soundtrack is in production now. They're mastering it. They're working on it. No ETA yet, but it's in process. They just had me doing the artwork for the jewel case a couple weeks ago, so it's come together. For the Ballad of Big Benny's, submit your Big Benny's videos on the forums. We're almost there. We just need a couple more videos to flesh out the last 30 seconds of the video, and soon the full 3.5 minute long Ballad of Big Benny's will be yours, created by Russ Tregenza and his lovely wife Julie. Do you remember that? Julia. So thanks a lot, guys. This is the April subscriber edition Reverse the Verse. Tune in tomorrow for our regularly scheduled Around the Verse. Got a ship shape for the Herald and the Return of Witch Glitch. And on Friday, the regularly scheduled normal non-subscriber edition Reverse the Verse with special guest, my dad. Yeah, my dad's coming to work. It's going to be terrible. All right, guys. Thanks a lot.
See ya.
See you around the verse, everybody.
Thank you so much.
See you guys.